Hello, hello. Welcome on back, everyone. It's been about a month, and here once again we have Kaed Ninescarred, my Death Paladin build. This is my first Tarnish. Kaed's the first character I took into the DLC, and we've adjusted a little bit because of how cool the lightning is in the DLC. We've gone a little bit more Godwin and a little bit less Malekith with the direction of the Death Paladin vibes this time around. Because the lightning's just awesome. And here we have me just chasing down and brutalizing the Mushroom Man. This is the kind of relentless chase down and punish that I've been enjoying with the addition of Blink Bolt, especially with the long half axe, but Blink Bolt and Knight's Lightning Spear. You just don't let him heal. You give him what's coming, and then you give him a salute. The Paladin Way. If you're a Strength Faith build, and you want to show the Dex Faith builds the lightning isn't just for them, here we go. We got strength, we got faith, we got lightning, we got dragon breath, lightning into fire beams, hyper beams, everything's going on. Look at this axe. This is my favorite thing. Yeah, it's incredible. Anyway, I love this build. Come hang out. Kaed Ninescarred, Death Paladin of Fair Missoula. We're gonna do lightning. And here we go. Let's show off some of these fights. So, the DLC added a lot of cool lightning stuff. We've got the Death Knights, bosses in some of the new catacombs, with some additional Godwin lore, which was great. But from each of them, we get one of their axes. So there's the long half axe, which I'm using here, which I love. And then there's the twin axes, which I have soft swap on the build. I don't like the moveset as much, but the Ash of War feels meaner. And there we go, we fought Burden, fought that guy a couple times, and they're all good fights. This right here is probably one of the best clips I've ever gotten. It's a 3-man tag team. Limgrave, First Step, and they're going to send one at a time at me. And I almost don't want to, let's just see how this goes. And there's one. I got all my buffs beforehand, and that guy got Mike Tyson. He got Knight's Lightning Spear. And we've switched away. No more Knight's Lightning Spear. On to number 2. Saving the Electroshock as an interrupt. The mobility on the Blink Bolts to keep us out from under those claws. Number 2. And you can see up above, the host gives me a little hip hip hooray. At this point, I still haven't taken any damage. And I once again switch spells, so I'm not using any of the spells you saw against the earlier 2 fights. Bringing in some of those big, sweepy, heavy attacks. The guard break into the laser finish. I hope the host remembers that fight. 1, 2, 3, no damage, different finishes. They gave me a cheer. That one felt good. I was proud of that one. Here we have the very common fog wall these days. I'm up at level 220, so lots of high-level people, and for the most part, it's fog walls or gang fights with the occasional real good, honest, progressing the game kind of co-op fight. Obviously, those are my favorites, but I'm not gonna lie, especially with this build and all of the AoE, and having Placidus Axe's Ruin on the #1 slot in my spell bar, so I switch to it a lot. I kind of love the frantic, tight, close quarters fights. You'll see a lot where I will jump in a crowded little room. I'll jump and use Placidus Axe's Ruin midair just to make the fight noisy. As an invader, one of your biggest boons is noise, like creating stuff that makes the screen loud for them here. So I'm using both of the Bairns. One, and then the second one, the Omen Bairn, covers that there's a lightning bolt coming, separates them, chased one away, and then I get to run forward with the Horned Bairn kind of covering my advance. It's a similar kind of philosophy to my friend Bertrude. He also makes YouTube videos of incredible builds. They're all non-meta, they're all characters in their own rights, but his build, the Chaos Maker, where the basic game plan is to fill the air with some projectiles and just start adding a bunch of colors and particle effects to the fight so that people start panicking and making mistakes. You know, and that's a lot of what lightning does. See here, electroshock. You get the initial bolt, which you saw in the last fight, which I used as an interrupt with the person with the claws. So if you time it right, you'll get him for, 600-700 damage. But you can also just use it as a noise buff. The ticks of damage around me, you're only going to see like 9 or so damage per, but it adds like that constant noise, and it staggers them just a little bit. So even though numerically it's not doing a lot, it has a psychological effect on the fight just by creating a bit more brain static for them. So I love this spell, and here we go. Knight Ezekiel chased him down, ran out of mana. They almost turned it on me right there because I got a bit cocky. And the rest of that fight was, I ran back down, and the other invader killed the host right as I was getting there. And I included it initially, but my partner said it was honestly boring. So, here we go into the next fight. This invasion right here is when I realized that I don't have Patch's squat. Which is a bummer. I gotta go get that. God, I love this area. I love the fights in the catacombs. Big mistake there. I should have held that ground as long as possible. But this one's fun. I got 2 phantoms right here. They're coming in hard. Mesmer shoots in from the side. This is an intense group to fight. They are all doing a lot, and they are aggressive. They are coming in hard. I've got the hammer throws. I got the Solitude Great Katana. Oh, I took one right there. Solitude Great Katana guy throwing, or trying to hit me with the Frenzy grabs. I've got Mesmer throwing spears and using the Ash a bunch. Now we got a bit of a standoff on either side of this impaling ceiling. And these are some of the moments I like the best in invasions, because it makes it into kind of, I kind of talked about this a bit in my Ganondorf invasion video, but it makes it into a little bit of like a mini boss encounter. Like, especially when it's thematic. I mean, it's thematic to be a Death Knight here, but I've got some other PvE with me. I get to, like, they get to choose to approach me across the room. It's a frantic fight. People get low, and they're able to conquer the bad invader. There's still a knight they have to deal with, so they don't get rest. And it just gets to, like, be a triumphant experience for them, and I love that. And that's one of the reasons I like having so many different spells, and also the Omen Bairns and different weapons and things like that, is because, you know, a lot of the times I'll make it partway through a fight, and then I'll switch things up. And it gets to make little moments like that during fights feel a little bit like boss phase transitions. You know, maybe the boss backs up, does a charge thing that fills the air with projectiles, and then comes at you with a different weapon, or at least a different style of approach. And you get to mix that up, one, for the enjoyment of the people you're fighting, but two, like, yourself. Breaks up the energy, keeps things fresh, keeps things a bit more dynamic, and also helps prevent me from spamming the same attack over and over again. So we got these two. This one's got the Great Sword of Damnation, going again for it. Hit me with it for like the third time, but without actually landing it ever. And if you have the Long Half Axe, and they go for the follow-up ground stab with it, you can easily close, hyper armor through the damage, and get an execute. If you have the poise for it. I mean, I had like 67 poise or something, so that was enough. So this guy's been using the Long Half Axe as well, so we had a mirror match up for a bit, so now I get to switch to the Twin Axe, which is... I don't like the basic move set as much, but Ash of War-wise, this one is the meaner of the two, because it is harder to escape. It's got the charge and then the second double charge, and a lot of people roll backwards, and then you get to just do this. It's mean. Like, if you roll backwards, it's almost a guaranteed, like, 1200 damage. So, it gets to be my finisher. Kind of opposite Placidus Axe's Ruin, which is usually my finisher because of the initial big burst of damage. And here we have our final fight against Burden, which we opened the video with. I fought this guy. This was the third of 3 fights. I won the first, which you saw. The second one he won with a clean backstab. It was just a much longer fight, so I didn't include it. But you know, we're 1-1 going into this. We do some gestures, some respectful wiggles, and then we're into the fight. The third and final best 2 of 3 of the Century. And this is a good kind of a wrap-up of what the build's all about. The charging, mixing up the Blink Bolt R2s with occasional Blink Bolt into a regular overhanded Chop R1. Taking that high-level Paladin FP pool and throwing out different spells, mixing up the spell order, mixing up kind of what they're dealing with, getting to keep track of remaining mana and switching to spells that you still have the FP to cast, getting to use Electrocharge here for the noise. Like, I wasn't trying to hit with the main damage there, but I just wanted them to have to make more choices, make more decisions, throw a little bit more information at them, and make a mess up, which, you know, Burden, to his credit here, did not do. He pulled out the parry, and I messed up. I went straight into it, but that's great, like, you know, and then we spread back. We get to change a bit of strategies here, and then I get a boss transition. I come in, got the Blink Bolt Twin Axe. I get to Hyper Armor through it, land a Dead Center, Electro Charge, back up. I use both of the Bairns out of order, but it's still, you know, he finishes dodging the first set, backs up, and then just sees projectiles over my head already. So coming back into it, there's still a lot of choices he immediately has to make. I'm keeping him at bay. I've got the mean Twin Axe, Ash of War, with some more Red Lightning coming in. Land it, and then run at them, jump in the air over their head, and Placidus Axe's Rune for that immediate burst of lightning damage into the fire laser if they back up. It's my go-to finisher. You know, get them low enough and you go jump over their heads. So thank you so much for watching. Here's the build. Level 220, I got both of the Knight's Axes, I got the Gravelstone Seals, I got 3 out of 4 of the Death Knight pieces, which each increase Death Knight and Ancient Dragon by spells and skills by 2%. Those are the talismans. Here we go, Wondrous Physic. I got the Opaline Heart tier and the Green Burst Crystal tier. And these are the spells. Everything's orange and yellow. Very paladin-y. Here's my stats. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and there will be more. I've been Kaed Ninescarred. Have a wonderful rest of your day.